This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories. And welcome to my review of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. This is the most recent Ghostbusters film, and if you have not watched it yet, I would highly recommend not watching this video since there will be spoilers. But yeah, honestly, I love this movie. I think that the only one it might be better than is 2. I definitely enjoy 1 and 3 a lot more. Of course, I'm talking about actual Ghostbusters movies because the 2016 one, I haven't even watched that one. I already know this is better than that because I've not heard good things about that. But this one specifically, it was a solid movie. I think it does have a few problems. I feel like it does drag on for a little bit, and a few of the scenes between Phoebe and the one ghost girl get a little. I feel like a little awkward. But really, besides that, this is an incredible movie that both honors the legacy of the original Ghostbusters, while it also goes and has a new and unique story to tell and focuses on the younger generation. This is kind of what the sequel trilogy should have been for Star Wars. At least, Episode 7, where they get a good chance for our original heroes to shine while the newer cast also gets to start taking the spotlight. And here, even better was the fact that both generations are working together. And the most surprising thing about this is Ray has such a major role in this. When you saw it, you just thought that the original Ghostbusters would mainly be here for cameo roles and wouldn't do too much. And while that's mainly true for Venkman, everyone else has a pretty big role. While Winston is there, it isn't as major what he's doing, but it is a lot more major if you take a look at Ray, who is there for really the entire plot. He's working with the youngest parts of the cast, and it honestly was just really exciting. And I really like the fact that, as I said, he was there for really the entire movie, and he had such a big role. And taking a look at some other stuff, there's some great references to the original movie. I think that it's really great that the EPA guy from the first movie is the mayor in this one, and it's been like 40 years and he still holds a grudge and he still wants to take down the Ghostbusters and have the organization shut down permanently. I just love how petty this guy is, and unless you're like a really deep Ghostbusters fan, you don't really realize it's the same guy until pretty late in the movie when they point out last time he shut them down that it caused all the ghosts to be released. And honestly, that was really great because in that moment you realize, oh, this guy has been in Ghostbusters before. But honestly, the best one of the callbacks has to be them going back to the library from the first one. Not only with the same guy still running the museum, there's also the fact that he's literally wanting the Ghostbusters to have nothing to do with him and has banned them from his library. And that was great, but the best part of it was the fact that even though the Ghostbusters knew for like 40 years that there was a ghost here, not only that the first ghost they ever encountered, so that's not like they're gonna forget it. They completely ignored this ghost and just left it haunting the library. I'm not sure if this was out of like some like spite or something, but honestly, it was pretty funny to see that and just think of the implications that they left this ghost for such a long time to go and haunt the library. They knew the ghost was there and they did absolutely nothing to stop it. Of course, it's kind of, a bad thing, but it's just honestly hilarious to think about. And just going to some other things. While the main villain isn't there for much, it's really true about every villain where I feel like the only one that did have a major appearances was Vigo from Ghostbusters 2. And that was more through paintings, and honestly, they all were just, kind of in the background waiting to have their reveals. And I really like what they did with him. They found a way to be smart and beat him since the proton packs weren't doing anything, and they needed a bigger ghost trap. And the thing I love most about this is, as I said, how they both honor the original legacy of the Ghostbusters while letting the new Ghostbusters have a chance to shine. And that's best shown in the final battle where it all takes place at the firehouse, which is something that I really like. It's just pretty cool to have it set in such a iconic location and for their home base to be the location of the final battle. And there's just so many other great things that happen. I think that it is really awesome. As I said, my favorite part is that the two generations of Ghostbusters have to team up, and they're both doing something to contribute to the defeat of our villain. It is just honestly really cool, and I love that one of them was holding the ghost down as the older Ghostbusters had to go and set a trap for him and ultimately capture him. That was honestly really nice. And then going back to some of the returning ghosts, there's Slimer, who was just a lot of fun in this. He wasn't, supposed to be too big or serious of a role. It was fun to see him. The mini puffs were also fun. They're just, more for comedic stuff and were the only post credit scene you get where you get a pretty funny post credit scene with them stealing a Stay Puft truck. And yeah, just going to everything else, the new characters, they were fun, but didn't really need them. I feel like, although the guy who's like, the fire master was kind of fun, I feel like the story really wouldn't have changed too much if the character never really appeared again, and they didn't need him. They could have found another way to break through the ice or something, but he was still a fun character. It's just maybe they could have spent a little more time on some of the returning characters instead of developing this character more. Because although all of them did get a good amount of time, I feel like the other one of the Spanglers didn't get too much to do. And I think that they could have given him a little more time and kind of cut out the Fire Master story, and just go into some of the stuff I want to talk about. I think that they did a great job overall. It was really cool to see just really everyone together. They clearly all were having such a great time. I felt like, everyone really both wanted to be there, and this was just a great fun time. I do wish that both Dana and Rick Moranis' character could have returned. And I do know that Rick Moranis has retired from acting, but Ryan Reynolds did get him to do that one commercial, so I know, so it would have been really funny if they had just, like maybe one 5 second scene where Rick Moranis shows up. I think that would have been just a really fun thing. But yeah, honestly, as I said, I really enjoyed this. I think that they're definitely going to have a sequel. This really was a great movie. I highly recommend watching it, and I think they did such a great job. Everything was It was really solid, although it wasn't my favorite of the franchise. I still think it was good, and the stuff they did was really solid. The one thing I said I really love is I feel like some of the movie felt a little drawn out, but really besides that, there's no real complaints. At least for the movie itself. There is one problem I have with it, and is that the marketing to this movie was awful. They really did nothing to advertise it, and I talked to people who didn't even know the movie released today. They did such a terrible job, and they should not have spent all that money on making it snow in the Midwest in the middle of March. Of course, that's a joke. If you're in the Midwest right now, you're probably wondering why it's snowing. And since it's the middle of March and it's been in the 70s recently, there's really crazy weather over here, so yeah, that's just more of a joke that it randomly decided to snow the day this movie released. But yeah, honestly, I want to know what you think. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.